Crazy mysteries that were solved by the internet. Mysterious messages. The date is April 15th, and you have just woken up to the sound of your alarm. As per usual, you only open your eyes a sliver and roll over to hit the snooze button. But it's as you turn over you notice something. On the desk beside your bed is a post-it note. Something you don't remember writing or leaving for yourself. And even though you're in desperate need of sleep, you decided to investigate. The yellow post-it note wasn't creepy in nature. It was a list of errands you had to do, but one crucial detail made it extremely mysterious. The handwriting on the note was not your own. It was that one subtle detail that caused you to think about how that post-it note could have possibly appeared. You have no recollection of writing it, but who else would know what errands you need to run? And besides, even if somebody did know, how would they have written the note and gotten it in your bedroom? It really didn't make much sense, but it didn't bother you that much. You chalk it up as something you did in your sleep and go on with your day, nearly forgetting about it hours later. That was until 4 days later on April 19th. After arriving home from work on the 19th, you notice something on the back of your office chair. Once again, another yellow post-it note, although this one was a bit more cryptic. It was in the same mysterious handwriting as the previous note, but it wasn't a list of errands. It was a reminder telling you to make sure you saved your documents. This note was more than odd and made you seriously question what exactly was going on, and it was becoming obvious this wasn't a note you had just written in your sleep. This note freaked you out so much, in fact, that you decided to set up a webcam inside of your apartment, pointing it directly at your desk to ensure that whoever or whatever was writing these notes could be caught. And once the camera was in place, nothing happened. That was until 9 days later. On the morning of the 28th, you woke up once again and found the most cryptic and disturbing note of all. It was a post-it note once again on your desk that stated the following: "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." Immediately, you begin to check the folder in which the webcam was saving all of the footage, and you notice that it was not only no longer recording, but all of the footage had been manually deleted. At this point, you were terrified. Somebody was leaving you cryptic messages, deleting the evidence, and you have no evidence besides these notes that anybody has been in or around your apartment. You know you're not doing it yourself, and you're beginning to feel like you're losing your mind. And on top of this, you're starting to develop worse and worse headaches, likely due to the stress of what is going on. A few days after that incident, on the 1st of May, you find another post-it note, although this time not on your desk. It's actually on the outside of your front door. And as you look down the hallway of all the other apartments, you notice that almost every door has a different colored post-it note, seemingly at random, although the deeper meaning, if there was one, was lost to you. After nearly 2 weeks of cryptic torment, you come to the conclusion that the person that's doing this has to be your landlord. But just to be sure, you check the lease agreement you signed and notice that the handwriting of your landlord on his signature almost matches the writing in your sticky notes exactly, proving to you that your landlord had been not only sneaking into your apartment, but using your sticky pads and using your pen to write you cryptic notes. Feeling terrified, violated, and slightly relieved now that you have some answers, you decide to go to Reddit, specifically the legal advice subreddit, to ask the members of the community if you had any legal standing to potentially press charges against your landlord. You had no evidence besides the notes themselves, but you figured the evidence would be enough. However, after making your post to Reddit, the community quickly determines that you don't have a legal situation on your hands. You actually have something much darker going on. The story I just described is the exact experience that Reddit user R. Bradbury1920 experienced over a decade ago. After Bradbury made the post, people quickly began to start weighing in on exactly what could be going on. One commenter suggested installing another lock on the door that could only be unlocked from the inside to see if it was truly the landlord. Some people believed that the story was completely bogus and just a waste of time. And others suggested that Bradbury see a doctor immediately because it seemed like he was having some sort of mental or neurological problem that he was not aware of and that needed to be treated immediately.